I had a chance to speak with John, Lauren, and Jason from Portables of Doom, a website started in 2013 by a group of hardware modding enthusiasts. POD has altered a plethora of gaming consoles, enhancing their abilities and functionality beyond anything the original manufacturers intended. Oh my god, it's been one full year, but Portables of Doom is still kicking. We're back once again with John and Lauren, and they have a whole mess of stuff to show us today. We got the PNES Mark III. This is, of course, a portable NES, the entire cartridge all the way in the back. It's actually surprisingly comfortable. How long did it take you to make this? We saw this last year, but you get a whole lot of info on it.
I originally built this thing probably like 3 years ago. It's undergone a few upgrades. The biggest change was rebuilding this board. Originally it was just one strip going across it, and that was made a fail, and then some. And it just kept breaking, so was it last year for MGC, I'm sitting around going, okay, I need something to put on display. What do I have sitting around that I can finish quickly?
Yeah.
And I look at this in my desk drawer, I'm like, well, this has been sitting in the junk pile forever. I rebuilt this whole board, redesigned everything, very special wiring, plugs for all these components, so it can be taken apart completely.
Yeah.
I designed a low battery indicator, which is buried up into here, which is really nice. The batteries I picked up for just a ridiculously good price. I can't believe I got them for as cheap as I did. It was like $30 for the pair.
How long would you say the battery life is on it?
Oh, it's insane. These are just crazy amount of power, but it's almost like 20-hour battery life on these things. Yeah, they got the NOAC board just here bolted right to the case. I rebuilt the insides completely. It has a new screen in it. And I just tacked the letter S onto it because it's the Mark III's for Super.
We are with Jason from portablesofdoom.org right now. Jason, you've got a ton of really killer stuff going on right here. What can you say about this right here? I'm seeing a 2600, but I'm not understanding what this is all about right here.
Yeah, we got an Atari Flashback 2. They released it about 10 years ago. When he made it, the guy that made it, I can't think of his name right now, but he worked on the original Atari.
Right.
So when he made this, it's a clone system. He's like, hey, let's have the cart port and all that for everybody.
So it's much smaller than the original,
yeah.
like much less heavy too, much less heavy.
Exactly. But then, the company that was making it, they're like, oh, we need this out by Christmas, or it costs too much money. Just put it out now. So he's like, okay, I'll just...
Reminds me of something else.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, Pac-Man on the Atari 2600.
Yep, that's why we got it. So he silk screened the pin out on here. I'll hold it right there.
Excellent.
So then they got all the points here. Here's 12 and 24 right there, if you can get that. There's 24 pins on the board here, so you can just wire it up and you're good to go.
Oh, very cool.
So then we got Pac-Man going now, and then flip the switch, and we got built-in games.
Whoa!
So there you go. We had two of them here earlier. We had one that loaded in on the top, too, to make it more look like a regular Atari, but somebody wanted it.
What's wrong?
Looks all right to me. This is how I remember.
Wait a minute. Something's not right here.
Everybody think about it.
That is a Super Nintendo cartridge inside of a Nintendo. So you finally figured out how to make Super Nintendo games run on Nintendo? How'd you do it?
Yeah, it was only that easy. Let me pop up here.
So this is the entire guts of a Super Nintendo crammed into an NES hard shell. Huh?
Yeah, I took an original Super Nintendo because it was, yellow to God knows what. I didn't really know about Retro Bright at the time, which is just like... what is that? I don't even know.
I don't understand it either. This is a phrase that I've heard over 3 times, and I just nod and smile every time.
That's what I do. I'm just like, cool. But it would lighten it out, so I'm like, whatever, I'll just put it in the regular Nintendo here. So I put the board in backwards, so it would, it would face the right direction.
Right.
I got composite, and I got S-Video in there too. On the side here, where there used to be composite RCA, I put in the both audio switches for left and right audio if you use S-Video. Don't have the light in yet, and I also need to figure out something for the clicky parts.
You know what, we're not even going to do the whole acting thing. You actually tricked me for a good 3 minutes yesterday.
Yeah, a lot of people are just like, oh, cool Mario Kart, I'll check it out, and they play it, and they're like, okay, thanks, bye. I'm like, don't you want to look at that a little harder, maybe?
All you said was think about it over and over again.
Open the lid, be like, why don't you look at that a little bit more? But, hey, that's why I built it, just to screw with people, so.
I think there is just something incredibly charming about seeing a Super Nintendo in the shell of an NES.
Super NES, air quotes. Air quotes.
That's one to grow on.
What we've got here is the top loader NES. You can see top of the shell here. When these came from the factory, they were designed to be pretty much the cheapest NES hardware that Nintendo could churn out. So they really cheaped out on components, and they cheaped out on the video output, which was RF only and even bad by RF standards. So what my mod here does is just a little circuit board right there that gives you a 3.5 millimeter jack on the back for composite video output and mono audio. It gives you dramatically better picture quality. And like modern TVs are even dropping support for composite video and everything. Your RCA plugs, red, white, and yellow for people that don't know what composite is. But this doesn't even have that from the factory. It's got RF, screw in analog antenna, horrible picture quality. A lot of people are, nervous about opening up old systems and stuff like that. And they have a lot of collector value. But personally, I think this is value added because externally, that little, 3.5 millimeter hole is the only external modification on the system, and
awesome.
It's a pretty clean mod.
And the original NES had
The NES had the AV out on the side. Well, I think all of them did actually. But these, just to save that extra, 20 cents per system by leaving those parts out, because literally this whole mod, it's 2 resistors, a transistor that I took from right over here, and a capacitor. This board comes pre-assembled. All you do is you desolder this part from here, put it on there, clip this 1 pin or lift it, and solder 3 wires.
How long does it take you to do all that?
If I'm sit down and I have everything ready to go, it's 15-20 minutes.
Not
that
bad.
includes drilling the holes and whatnot. If you really want one, somebody can get a hold of me.
Of course, the most successful company in the world, Radio Shack, and their latest craze, the electronic TV scoreboard, which involves apparently armed robbery at some point.
No guns at the convention. Let's not point that out. And everybody's favorite game, Pong, running out of TV, that's probably just as old as the game itself. So.
This is a portable Sony player.
Don't show
dear
that.
God. That is gigantic.
It's no Blaze Orange cape or anything.
That's
70s.
Yeah, the
it's
70s,
totally.
man.
It's like the Odyssey gun.
Living in the Wild West.
So you've got yourself this Sony portable television from the late 70s, did you say? Or
75.
75.
Yeah, you can actually.
Come on, Colin, let's do it.
All right, let's do it.
You gotta click serve. Yeah, you can actually slide that off.
Cool. Yeah.
All right, you're gonna get served, dude. Let's do it. Ah!
Oh, God.
I didn't expect it to look this good. Ah! A portable Sega CD. Now, the Sega CD, of course, is the ultimate system. No system has surpassed it in terms of CD graphic quality. What did you exactly do to make this system portable? Because if you look on the back right here, it's an actual disc. It's like a Walkman almost. What made you do this?
Sega CD is one of my favorite systems. It's kind of an unsung system, and it's got so much bad play over the years because Sega marketed it as an FMV system, and FMV just looked terrible.
It did.
And the games were not even worthy of the name. It's kind of one of my holy grail systems. There's so many terrific, like Popful Mail, which I have in here. This game is fantastic. Everything about it. The voice acting, the cutscenes, the story. It's a great game. So I'm like, okay, I want a Sega CD portable. I want to make that happen. Well, the only way to do it, because there's no clone hardware available, is with the official Sega CDX. And those things fetch a pretty penny all over the place. Fortunately, I built this out of two very, very broken CDXs. I scored for reasonable prices. Unfortunately, this has its side effects. I don't know if you can see it in the video or not, but the picture is very, very wavy. That has to do with the power board. The power board on it doesn't ground out properly or something. I cannot figure out why it's doing it. I've poked it with every tool I have, and nothing seems to make sense with it. It just does that.
Nothing modded here, but something you've acquired,
Yeah,
which
it's
is
a Sony Watchman FD10A. It's actually a 1.8-inch cathode ray tube, CRT. And the cool thing about these is usually the picture gun, the ray tube itself is, pointed directly at the phosphor mask from the back. It's actually, the electron gun is pointing up at a curved mask.
So mirroring the image that is.
It's not even mirroring it, it's actually projecting it directly onto the curved screen.
Whoa.
And corrects it for, distortion, keystone, and whatnot.
Definitely the older you are, the more likely you are to remember something like this, but you don't find these around everywhere anymore.
They don't turn up too often. You see the LCD ones pretty frequently.
Oh, yeah.
One with the CRT that still works. That's pretty cool.
Black and white, right?
Yep, black and white.
All two glorious colors. So it's not just about portables, it's also about 3D printing over here. I thought you actually bought this somewhere. You made this just yesterday?
Yeah, we made them about a week ago for the show just to have some things up. I got a Triforce here in yellow, Nintendo, that someone made and put on Thingiverse, where there's a lot of different designs you can download and print.
So this even got the little buttons on there.
Yeah,
it's
this
fantastic.
is in 4 parts. So we got the bottom gray part, the top white part, and then the 2 black parts to add in. You just glue it all together and you got a Nintendo. There's also PDF for like decals and stuff, but I didn't really have time to do that. And then we made a Milwaukee Brewers logo, since this is Milwaukee, and I didn't want to get thrown out for making a Cubs one, but yeah, we got it. And then I put a little bevel on the ball there, nice retro logo. I actually didn't even notice that it's N and B for Milwaukee Brewers. I just thought it was a glove, so I got a Zelda shield, some rings, and some more Triforces. And then I also made the Midwest Gaming Classic logo keychain. It's about, we paused it at each millimeter, so it's about 8 millimeters tall, and then we just, each time it paused, we just put in a different filament for multicolor.
How often do you use a 3D printer?
Yeah, you know, we bought it just for making case parts, buttons, replacement parts. I'm actually going to design a fully 3D printed NES portable. Hopefully I'll have that done next year.
I did this for a fellow. It's an internal battery mod. Instead of using the big nasty battery pack on the back side or running through the power plug, it uses a pair of lithium-ion cells, so it runs quite happily.
Awesome, man. Definitely the picture's all cleaned up.
Yep, the LCD has been replaced.
You can see the before and after on these Sega Nomads, because that's like the version that I've got at home right there. Blurry, smeary, not too solid. Look at that, crisp, sharp, just fantastic. Well, we're seeing a lot of retro consoles here over at the Midwest Gaming Classic. We also got some retro computers, including, what is this, the Amiga 1200 over here?
This is the Amiga 1200. Came out in 1992. When they originally came out, they had a Motorola 68020 processor at 14 megahertz with 2 megs of RAM.
Whoa.
And this particular model, it has an expansion card in it. So it's actually got a 68030, this next generation of the 68000 series processor, running at 28 megahertz with an FPU, and I've maxed out the RAM on the accelerator card to 128 megs.
Whoa, 128 megs. Yep. I see you're only using, you got 94% of your CPU free, which is awesome. Got plenty of space to play out of this world.
Yeah, like when this is running Amiga Workbench 3.1, OS 3.1, with a Scalos Workbench modification. So it adds some functionality to the OS. The cool thing about the Amiga, though, is the emulators for it, especially WinUAE on Windows. It is very, very compatible with original Amiga software. So what I can actually do is pull the hard drive out of this, hook it up to a USB external drive adapter, and boot this actual hard drive in emulation on my PC.
Insanely cool. That is awesome.
Like, that's how I just copied a disk image to this for this show, but the original Workbench setup I had on here was done via emulation and then dumped onto the computer.
Awesome.
Because it's easier to handle the files on PC. You can just drag and drop them.
It's incredible, man. Well, we got a lot of cool stuff over here. Can we expect more of the same from Portables of Doom soon?
Yeah, we got a website, portablesofdoom.org, where we got portables, console mods, tutorials, using nouns as verbs, and, just backlogging articles to make us look like a competent website. So, hey, check it out.
All right. Excellent. Thank you so much for hanging out today, guys. It was awesome. Portablesofdoom.org. Always a pleasure to see you guys. Hopefully see you soon.